watch the damage numbers that we're putting up. So we're hitting for 6,000. This is pretty low, and you'd be surprised how many people are sitting here doing this amount of damage and wondering why they aren't able to kill bosses. But let's go ahead and equip the proper stuff and see how much more damage we can get. Now let's look at the exact same character, the exact same level, but the modules are going to be different, and watch the damage that we're going to be able to actually deal. So you can see we are dealing almost 500,000 on a crit, about 300,000 on a non-crit. And I get asked all the time, Slaydra, mine is doing like 100,000. How is yours hitting for 500,000 every half a second? And let's drop into what is actually causing your DPS to not match what you should be doing. You can basically get 5 times plus the damage that you are actually dealing. Let's hop right into it. What's up, Descendants? So let's go over how we're going to be able to significantly boost our damage in First Descendant. Because I get asked all the time, Slaydra, you're like level like 1 or 2, you do more damage than me. So levels in this game are not your main focus point in terms of getting power. You're going to reset and basically prestige your character multiple times by getting a certain material in the game, getting these additional sockets. Your main goal at the end game to get more power after you use what's called an energy activator is then slamming as many crystallization catalysts as possible on your weapons as well as over on your character, and I'll explain all of that. But the very first thing that I want to go over that is kind of something that a lot of people may not actually notice is specifically re-rolling your weapons mods. This is actually a huge thing that a lot of players miss out on, and this is another huge source of bonus damage. So let's go over one of the most important things, which is essentially going to be re-rolling the weapon mods. So if you go over the workbench, you can go to weapon Readjustment is the second one, and you can click on any of the weapons. I'll just select this one for example, and you'll see all of these results and a bunch of these things on the side. Now, some people probably already know about this, but you may not know which ones are the best one, and I can't say for sure for your build which one is going to be the best one for every single build. But getting specifically firearm attack and rounds, unless you're playing Glay, is going to be pretty much one of the top tier things that you're looking for. Also, if you can get the element to maybe match the boss that you're farming, cool. But don't expect to reroll this every single time you go into a boss fight that is going to be a different element. That would be very, very bad. But in general, a lot of times, the better stats to kind of look out for, because at the moment, the dungeons aren't really challenging you one-shot pretty much everything, so getting things like firearm against Colossus, getting any sort of elemental stat is good, and then getting firearm attack and rounds. Basically, this is kind of the stuff that you want to look for, but if your weapon does use crit, like for example the Thunder Cage, and you're building into crit, then getting the critical hit damage and fire rate is another advantage. Now with re-rolling, I want to also give you guys a really good tool here, but first off, start crafting a bunch of these. You're going to need tons and tons of stuff just to get these re-rolls, and you can lock certain options here. This is a big source of free DPS, and it will basically let you keep one of the rolls, but it's going to cost more. So if I want to keep all 3 of these and I just wanted to change this one, it's going to cost 20. So eventually you can re-roll into the correct things. Now we see everything on the left over here, but what is the actual roll chance? Well, I got that for you. Now, just as a heads up, I will link this down below, but it is only in Korean. You're going to have to translate this yourself if you want to. I'm not going to make this whole video like super long, but let's say we're using the SMGs because this is kind of like one of the most popular things. Let's say we go to SMG, we want to go to level like, they're not sorted by it, but basically depending on the level of the actual weapon, that determines the probability of getting certain things. So not everything is actually going to be equal, and it's a really good thing because if you're like, oh, I want to build this, well, you better know how hard it is to hit that roll, otherwise you could be re-rolling for, you know, tons of rolls, which is fine, but you're going to need to craft that specific thing, and if you need to craft the materials for this, pretty much most of the stuff that's in the game is all crafted over here, and it does take some time, so I want to let you guys know at the start of this video, literally, hit pause on this video, go start crafting it now, it's going to take some time. So that's going to be a huge area where you can boost your damage. Another thing that's going to give you a lot of damage is basically just getting more module capacity. You can see over in your character, this mastery rank. Now, past 20, it doesn't really benefit your like damage too much because you have maxed out capacity at that point. Going to rank 30 does not change the capacity of being 50. Right now, we are 15, but I'm telling you, it takes a very, very, very long time to go from, like, anything after 13 just takes a really, really long time. And these are literally free extra module capacity. That's more perks that you're putting on your character, more module sockets, right? This is a huge source of bonus like damage because you can literally throw more stuff on your weapons. So in order to actually level this up, the best way to do it is you may have a bunch of characters, and if you have not prestiged the characters, start leveling up all of the characters. And on top of that, maybe run weapons that you normally wouldn't use just to get your mastery ranks higher. That is another source of getting your mastery ranks up higher, is just simply playing the game and leveling up your weapons as well as your characters to make this go up. Trust me, it takes a really long time once you hit like 13 again. So don't expect this to be like something you can just go, oh, I need to rank it up. Okay, swap weapons. It'll take a really long time unless you're doing the Valby farm, which is actually really, really excellent. And then on top of that, another thing to do is also make sure you guys are using your catalyst. I'll swap to like, here's my one character over here. So this is one of my builds I use for bossing, but you'll see that in the green, the socket module, if I put it in that specific area, it's going to cost half the amount. You want to start getting these towards the end game, as it literally doubles your mod capacity if you put in everything for your character, and that also includes your melee. If I go swap to my other character is a little bit more min-max over here. I've prestiged this character, I think, like 6 times right now. But the more times you're prestiging, and you can't just prestige for free, you need the crystallization catalyst. I'll have a video eventually, a guide that goes over how to get all the energy activators and the catalyst, because the energy activator will give you plus 20 on your Descendant, but on your weapon, it'll go up plus 30 module capacity. But you can see this one's almost min-maxed. Over here, I'm not gonna put these two in, and I'm gonna tell you why. So the reason why I'm not putting this in, we're getting an update in literally less than 2 weeks, and if there's new modules that come out, if you have the wrong socket, what you're going to have to do is recatalyst to blank, and then you recatalyst again. So you basically have to use 2 catalysts. So I'm leaving these slots empty on purpose. So that is a way where if you want to wait, for the update, I think that's a smarter thing to do, because if you come out with a new module, that's 2 catalysts for 1. Unless you're only playing 1 character, then by all means, I guess you can catalyze twice. But it's kind of mean that they do that, because if you want to change the socket, you're going to have to pay again. You can also throw this in your melee, and this one's pretty much the same all around as far as like the little socket type. So keep that in mind as well. Also, other things that will give you way more damage is actually upgrading your modules. In the very beginning, this is going to be good for the example. So rifling reinforcement is one of the best ones. Now, in the earlier stages, you're going to get a bunch of Kuiper, you're going to get a bunch of gold basically like for free. So at level 0, we get plus 12 attack, and at level 10, we get 32. That is a huge jump up, and the difference in cost, it goes from, at the very beginning, from 6 to 16, so that's a total of plus 10. Now, if I was to run 3 of these at level 0, right, that would cost me 18 over here. So if I was to run Fire Conductor as well as Fire Enhancement, like let's say that's what I was trying to do for my build over here, we would get a total of 20, and then we would get 28 in total, whereas if we just upgrade this, we would get more value. So in most circumstances, guys, it's going to be much better to upgrade 1 over having 3 different ones equipped that are kind of like lower level. I understand if you don't have the gold and stuff, but if you're using module capacity as kind of your breakpoint limit, it's much better to invest into higher numbers because it's just way more worth it, like in terms of value. So that was my little example of that. Also, knowing which things to kind of go for. Now, it's going to be different for every single build. There's not like a one fits all, but in general, what you want to get is specifically getting rifling reinforcement, then any element, and then also getting your fire rate up, which is action reaction, fire rate up. Also getting extra ammo is good if you want to scale crit, depending on your weapon. Thunder Cage is worth scaling crit, but you have other weapons like Tamer that aren't really worth going crit unless you know what you're doing and you have a character build, like maybe Valby to increase the base crit of the weapon. It's kind of up to you, but in general, most builds, rifling reinforcement, some sort of element, fire rate, those are all great stats. And if you want it to be way better for bossing, weak point is just one of the best things in the game. Also, another huge thing, now this one is a gold mod, but real life fighters is kind of like the ideal go-to. Another bonus tip that I want to give you, after you eliminate the like bosses, like let's say the weak point, like let's say the knees on like one of the boss where it's like the weak point, after you pop it, if you shoot that same exact area, it still registers as a weak point even though the thing is actually gone. So that's another bonus tip. And it really depends on what you're trying to go for too. There's so many different builds, and again, not to make this video super long going over like, okay, if you're running a sniper, you want to run certain things, but there are certain builds that may differ for a very specific Descendant. Like this was like the one-shot boss build, and so there's so many different ways to play the game, and that is another thing that I want to mention is that like there's not one thing that fits all. My best suggestion would be to look up a guide. Another thing that can actually give you a lot more damage is your reactors. A lot of people don't know that you can actually upgrade your reactors. That's the thing that's over here that will give you some sort of a bonus. You can actually level this up. You can see on the right side that the 2 little orange diamonds. I know it's real tiny, but if you upgrade that, that literally gives you more skill power. And you can go here and go to Reactor Enhancement, take one, and then upgrade it. Now, it's going to cost these Precise Ion Accelerators. These are super easy to get. You can see I have, like, I have a lot of materials here. And if you need to craft them, these also take time. So start crafting these right now. Again, pause the video, go start the craft. If you need these, they will cost 5 and 10. So in total, you need 15. And you can always start crafting these. I usually have one of these going, but right now I'm kind of, like, stuck on gold. But you can upgrade these. Mine, I already have it upgraded right now, so there's no really need to. These don't have like a random roll. But there's another bonus tip that I want to give you. That is that you do not need to actually upgrade these in terms of like their stats if you do not use the sort of bonus on some sort of power. Like this one, for example, this is a bunny build that relies off of lightning emissions. That's a little lightning nova. So I want the bonus of Thunder Cage mounting, which means I have to have the gun equipped, not just in my inventory here to get the bonus. But once I reach the bonus, I get the bonus. You can see where it says like Thunder Cage mounting, and I get more skill power. There are some characters that skill power may not matter. Like for example, my Glay build over here, this doesn't matter at all. In fact, with my Glay, I don't know if let's see if it actually still has it. But if I go to my module over here, the one that I'm actually running is something that has. Let me see if I can find it. Like it's one that has cooldown reduction. I don't know where it actually is. Okay, here's one, for example. So you can see it has skill cooldown and effect range. If I only care about that, then that's all I care about. Like, I don't need to worry about, like, all of these skill power bonuses. That way you can try to farm for specifically, like, for example, Glay. Most people are just playing Glay specifically for the, like, infinite ammo. If you're just doing the infinite ammo, as far as we are aware of, the skill power boost, even though it shows these numbers going up and down, it's just the abilities cooldown. Like, that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about, like, the bonus because there's no bonus damage to it. The easiest way that you can check out if the actual, like, mounting matters, because maybe you got a really good reactor, but it doesn't have the thing that you're looking for, check in the character. You'll see, for example, in this instance over here, we have the skill that gives us infinite ammo. We have the cooldown, and then we have duration, right? Those are the two stats that we're really looking to go for. The maximized recovery, don't even worry about that, because we're really just using it for infinite ammo, right? So getting extra power, that doesn't change any of the stats here. Now, it will change the stats on, let's say, this skill like Life Siphon, because I don't reach the requirements. But again, most people don't play Glay for this anyways, but I'm just trying to let you guys know that you can get a really good reactor and not worry about the skill power bonus or the mounting bonus because you only are using it for the other reason. This could be something else, like the Frenzy State. Putting in extra skill power does not change this skill's like effectiveness, really. I mean, you can maybe reduce the cooldown, but that doesn't really matter. We're only using this for that specific thing. So hopefully that will help you. And I also have another really good video guide. If you guys need to get the best reactor in the game for your character, check that. Check the pin. I'll also have that for you guys ready to go, and that will really help out. Now, obviously, if you are playing a build that needs to run for whatever bonus damage that you are running, like again, like my bunny, then yes, you need to make sure you reach the mounting requirements, and then upgrading the stuff will matter. It actually doesn't upgrade it that much. Like if I was to go upgrade, let me go and show you guys the difference. Do we have a non? Okay, so this is where normally we would want this for like non-attribute or whatever, but you'll see that like the optimization over here, I only need to have a sniper rifle equipped over here. I don't even need to even have like if I swap my weapon over here, it's always going to say that little check mark, because when it says equipped versus mounted, mounted means it's in your hand. The equipped means I can have any of these as long as it's in one of the 3 slots. So hopefully that also helps out. And also, don't skip out on the set items. There's a lot of set items for your character. Like, oh, this one has Supernova right now. But normally with Glay, I play with Annihilation. In fact, we could just go to my preset here. And making other presets for bosses and stuff, it definitely does help out. So if I was to go swap to this little snapshot to this, then we have have the Annihilation set, so when our HP is lower, we get some more damage and skill duration. So this will really help out. Don't skip out on the sets. If you need to farm the set, look up whatever boss drops it. Usually it's in hard mode. The boss will randomly drop some of these, but these take a long time to farm. You're going to have to look like a lot of them might have golds at this point because I've been farming it for a while. But these aren't like really easy to get to be like perfect for your character, so don't expect to get it ASAP. But again, if you do want to upgrade your reactors over here, you may want to go ahead and check out if it even matters, because all it does is affect the skill power, and if your skill power doesn't matter, then this is a waste. So just more knowledge for you guys. Anyways, that's going to go and wrap up things. If you felt like there's anything else that I missed out on to really increase your power, definitely let me know down below, as yeah, it's definitely a great way to know how to increase your power, because levels don't really matter. Levels essentially will give you more HP, more shields, more shield regen, but it's not really tied to your damage. So hopefully this kind of clears it up, and this way you guys know how you can actually increase your damage, but it's basically just adding as much modules as possible. Anyways, hopefully this video guide helped you guys out. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell, and maybe we'll make an update if things change in the brand new update that's coming out very soon. But take care. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.